Isn't it frustrating when you go online and you read the guidelines that tell you by so and so many months your baby should easily sleep through the night, no feeding, basically 12 hours from 6 to 6, 7 to 7, 8 to 8, basically 12 hours uninterrupted sleep, or maybe waking up once, but just maybe. But let's just say by 5 or 6 months, your baby just, completely sleeps through the night. So you read that and you look at your baby and you're like, what's wrong with mine then? Why is mine not sleeping through the night yet? Then you talk to other people. You're like, so how was it with your baby? Did they struggle to sleep through the night? And your friends, family members, or whoever you're talking to is like, oh no, mine slept through the night when they were like 8 weeks old. Or mine basically slept through the night from day one, which, I mean, I understand that is very uncommon as well, but it happens. And a lot of people are like, oh, I was so blessed. My baby just never had any issue sleeping. You know that whole term, sleeping like a baby? Good joke. Because if I were to sleep like my baby, I would firstly, not sleep well at all at night. And secondly, nap time, not so great either. I mean, my baby does take naps, but she's such a light sleeper. Like, I have a dog as well, and every time the postman walks past the house, I'm praying. I am so praying. Please don't bark right now. And what does my dog do? He barks. Baby wakes up. So, sleep like a baby. So, sleep is a very, very touchy subject, I think, for a lot of mums, because it is very normal that your baby does not sleep through the night. I mean, I've talked to mums before who have a 1-year-old or an 18 months old, and they say their baby doesn't sleep through the night yet. So I know it's out there. I know it's common. However, you have this other half of women out there who are like, oh no problem at all. Sleep is great. And then it is especially frustrating when websites kind of tell you by this age a baby should so and so. They tell you what a baby should, but no two babies are alike. That's the thing. And with sleep, it is so volatile with my baby. It's just so up and down. And we have a couple of good nights where we're thinking, okay, we can see the end of where we're thinking we can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and we're finally getting to a point where she sleeps quite well, and then suddenly the next night completely switches again and she sleeps really bad, and then she sleeps really bad for a couple of days, and then maybe she has a good 2 days or so again, only to then sleep bad again. It's just all over the place. And I was wondering, is that normal? So I go online and I read about that. And on like chat rooms with other mums, it is actually quite helpful to read how many mums have struggled with that, because their babies haven't been sleeping well from day one, and their babies are now 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, and so on, and still don't sleep great. But all those websites, and they tell you by 6 months your baby should sleep through the night without feeding completely. My baby's 6 months and she's not sleeping through the night. She still wants to eat. She's a hungry baby. So it is kind of frustrating, I guess, because you think if those professionals tell you your baby should at this age should do a certain thing, and then your baby doesn't, then you think something is wrong. Just not every baby is the same, and we know that. So it's kind of unfair of those websites to say your baby should do these things at a certain age, because every baby is different and they all sleep differently and eat differently. And I understand that these guidelines are supposed to help you and understand more about, understand your baby's development. So it's not like they force you to do these things, but they feel a little bit discouraging, really, if you've had another rough night and your baby is 6 months now, And you're like, well, my baby is still not sleeping through the night, so what's the matter? Nothing is the matter. Nothing is the matter except your baby is just not that typical role model kind of picture perfect little human being that just works 100% according to the website, you know? Of course, you have little crutches, so to speak, that can help your baby sleep better. So we used swaddling, or did use swaddling. You basically wrap your baby up really tightly, like in a nice cocoon, in a cocoon. So in that cocoon, they're like really cozy and comfy. And my daughter, like, she likes to wriggle her arms, and that would always wake her up. And sometimes she literally bashed her hand in her face and woke her up again and startled her. So by her being like all snuggled up like that, that helped her sleep better. We also have a sleeping bag. Now that she's bigger, she doesn't fit into those swaddles anymore, because I think they're supposed to be used until they're like 3 months old, and by then babies outgrow them. So the next stage up really is a sleeping bag or grow bag. So we're using that one at the moment. She can have her arms out. She's still snuggled up. It's almost like a wearable blanket, really. And yeah, it also gives her kind of comfort. And she also, a good thing about those sleeping bags, grow bags, whatever you call them, you can't really get tangled up, you know. Important thing, what we're also doing is what helped maybe a little bit is an evening routine. I'm sure you came across that a lot as a recommendation. Do that, like literally be religious with it every evening around the same time. Obviously, in the first weeks, there's no point really expecting that it will help, because babies are so all over the place with times and everything. But we started that routine, I'd say, when she was about 7, 8 weeks, where it became really regular. And she's taken to it quite well. So, I mean, sometimes it can work miracles, sometimes it doesn't help at all, but sometimes it just helps having that little bit of stability, you know. Yeah, every day can be a little bit different, especially in the first weeks. Like, you know, really, babies are so all over the place, really. Your life is all over the place, and your everyday life. So having that little bit of stability and routine, that can be helpful for the baby, it can be helpful for you as a parent. So I found that helpful. Like I said, she's still hungry though at night, so I also make sure she gets fed enough during the day, because you come across that tip as well. Overfeed your baby during the day so they sleep well at night. We've done that, hasn't worked. She's still hungry, at least once a night. But what I'm trying to say is, don't feel disheartened because your baby doesn't sleep through the night yet. It can take up to a year. It can even take longer. I mean, I don't want to make you feel worse now, but what I'm just trying to say is, just because it has worked for other people and they have been lucky enough in that department that their baby has slept really well from an early age, you should not beat yourself up about that your baby isn't doing that. It's luck. It comes down to them being lucky that their baby has been so calm from day one. It's just, you know, I know it becomes frustrating when other people try to pitch in, and they're asking things like that. There's comments like, what, your baby is 5 months old or however old, and they don't sleep through the night yet? I mean, shouldn't they be sleeping through the night yet? And unfortunately, I've heard that a few times from people close to me who said, at that age, shouldn't she be sleeping through the night yet? Yes, she should. Doesn't mean she does it automatically. Doesn't mean she's ready for that yet. And just because your baby did it, or because someone else's baby that you know did it, doesn't mean that that same thing applies to my baby, unfortunately. I mean, I would love her to sleep through the night, but we're just not there yet. And if the whole sleep thing is just not going the way you want it to, and you get frustrated seeing online that the guidelines say your baby should be sleeping through the night, just keep in mind, every baby is different. No two babies are alike. And it's just a guideline. and you're not a failure, and there's nothing wrong with your baby just because they don't sleep yet. There's nothing wrong with it. That day will come where they sleep better. You'll be so grateful and really, really appreciate those nights, but you'll just have to get there. But in the meantime, just do not let other people and websites and online chats get to you. It will happen. Just sometimes it takes a bit longer for your baby than it might take for your friend's baby or your colleague's baby or whatever. Nothing wrong with your baby. It's all okay.